What's up, everybody? I'm Dr. Josh Jagoda. Today I want to talk about a subject called epigenetics. And it's pretty much the science of change and how our body changes based off of genetics, right? A lot of people think that their body is predetermined or predestined based on its genetics. But really, it's more about the expression of our genetics, meaning how the actual proteins come about and determine what characteristics we have, such as a certain hair color or certain types of height or body weight. But we're learning through the study of epigenetics that it's not just about genetics. It's about what other factors around that influence your DNA, that influence things on the molecular level. So here's a really quick example is that a lot of mice that are studied, they're genetically identical, right? They have the same, they were born at the very similar times, they're kept in the same similar types of environments, but yet the difference is their body weight is different, for example, or they might have a slight variation in their tail or a slight variation in their fingers or their hands or something like that. They may have some sort of differences, even though they're genetically identical and they grew up in the same place and the same exact environment or very similar environments or labs. So really what we're talking about, guys, is that there is inherent change that occurs on a genetic and a DNA and a molecular level. So why is this important, and what does this have to do with you, and how can you actually help yourself? The reason is a lot of people have heart disease or genetically differences, and we know that. But what I'm saying is that, and what epigenetics is saying, is that you can literally influence yourself on a molecular level based on the environment that you go on. So how your DNA and how your genes interact with its environment is really critical with your health. So for example, if you have pretty decent genetics, but you influence it with negative side effects such as drugs and alcohol and over abusive, like things like that, and bad diet and bad exercise patterns, then you're going to take a good genetic structure and kind of break it down over time. And likewise, if you don't have necessarily the strongest genes because maybe you have family history of cardiac problems, but you influence it with good positive diet and exercise, and you avoid all these other negative things and chemicals and pesticides and things like that, you're giving your genetics the best chance to express itself. So guys, bottom line here is that just because genetically you're made up of this, and this, you have a lot of control based off your environmental factors. You have a lot of control on what happens to you. Don't play the victim, guys. Really just go out there, try to live a good, positive life, and also try to really give yourself the best environment to express your genetics, because about that is where a lot of change occurs. It's not always what we can do, what happens to us, it's what we can do, because we're not necessarily born with a certain set of conditions that we picked. We didn't pick our own height, we didn't pick our own weight per se, but we can pick a better and healthier option and a better environment to live in. So guys, if you're in a bad environment, you're not really where you need to be. You need to start changing your environment. You need to start changing your diet, your exercise patterns, maybe the people you hang around, things like that. So guys, your genetics, your epigenetics, they are determined by your outside environment, and you have the control of your outside environment, and ultimately you have control over a lot of things that they say that you didn't. All right, guys? Hopefully this empowers you. Hopefully this gives you some insight on really what epigenetics is and how you can start taking the best course of action for your own health. All right, guys? I'm Dr. Josh Jagoda. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you guys next time.